So I know some of you may be wondering what was going on with the Rabbit, where has it been? Because we were doing a bunch of updates. We were posting videos on this thing on YouTube, posting weekly updates, daily updates, whatever it is on Instagram, Facebook, on the Rabbit, on the things we've been doing to it, the changes we've made. We were doing to it last winter mostly. And to be honest, I was wondering the exact same thing. What is going on with this car? I don't get it. It's uh, it's been the source of most of my headaches these past few months, but um, we got it working. It's been running great now the past few weeks, and that's why it's been gone, and then it suddenly appeared once again because it's been such a big headache. I just decided to put the car to the side, focus on some other things, just to, I guess, calm the nerves a little bit, and really brainstorm ideas. What was going on? What could be going on with it? I really needed some time to breathe because, yeah, this thing was such a headache. I was thinking about this thing almost every single day, trying to figure out what is going on with it. What is next? What does it need? Um, where could I find some more resources? Who can I talk to? But before we get into that, um, I don't even want to really think about it going so far back. But yeah, let's enjoy this thing. That's what this thing was made for. That's why we built this thing, to enjoy it, to drive it. So let's take it out to some of my favorite roads in the area before we get into all of the details. So here it is. We even made a couple changes off camera that I didn't even record. I wasn't even thinking about recording videos anymore, just because like I said, I was stuck. I couldn't figure out what was going on with it, and we already made some changes here and there during that time where we were trying to figure out the issues that I had, why I wasn't running properly. While we, yeah, like I said, while we were doing all of that, we made a few changes. I'll bring those up in a bit, but yeah, before I get a cold start on this thing, check out the Mark II. Got this thing in here as well. We've been enjoying both of these cars a bunch the past week or so, before winter gets here and whatnot. And it's crazy. This might be the last few weeks or so. I don't really know what's going on with this thing, but we'll see. It might be on the market soon. Seriously considering it, just to venture into other things, focus on some other things. This is the car we drive the least, so something has to go if we want to bring in more projects, bring in more work. We gotta make space. We're in Chicago. Space is limited. We gotta make a sacrifice, and this is definitely the first option out of all of our cars. Surprisingly, I know it's insane that probably the most detail-oriented car is going to be the first car on the chopping list if we were to sell any of our cars. For the same reason, not because we don't like it, not because we don't enjoy it, definitely not because it doesn't look good or something, but just because it's the car we enjoy the least, we drive the least. We don't really have a purpose for this car. This car was mostly built as a show car, and that's it. So it seriously constrains the amount of time that will enjoy this thing. But anyhow, focus back on the Rabbit. Let's get a cold start on this thing. This thing has a nasty cold start with the 3.6 in a neutral. Where'd I put the key? I got the key now. The fuel pump primed. I gotta make sure to keep the door closed with the cold start, just to not bother the neighbors. So it's almost funny. 15 minutes into the highway, and this thing started to misfire. It wanted to turn off. It almost wanted to choke, which is kind of similar to what it was doing before we thought we fixed it. So yeah, now I'm in this random parking lot. Thankfully I made it out of the highway, and unfortunately I don't have a scanner, so maybe if I disconnect the terminals, connect them for a little bit, and make them let them get some contact, that's going to reset the ECU. Yeah, I'm at a point, guys, where I'm not even mad anymore. I'm not upset. If I'm stranded, I'm stranded. I really don't. At this point, I really haven't built up the confidence yet with this thing in terms of reliability and being 100% certain it's going to make it to the destination. It hasn't left us completely stranded yet. Well, actually, no, it hasn't left us completely stranded yet to the point where we got to get to the trailer or a tow or something. Thankfully, the issue that it's been having, you let the car cool off, let the computer cool off for about half an hour, and it runs fine for another half an hour or so. Yeah, let's give it another try. Probably not gonna go on the highway anymore. Gonna try to stick on the side roads, the small roads, just so I don't get stranded next to a bunch of speeding cars. Let's see what happens. It's gonna start off fine, that I'm sure of. But I don't know if it's gonna move far. It's gonna go far. Let's see. Is it responsive? Throttle's pretty responsive. I don't feel a misfire. I don't feel or hear a misfire, so that may have just done the trick. Guess we'll see in a bit when we get on the street and actually try to put some power down. Let's see. So I probably made it a block or so, and this thing didn't even want to respond at the stoplight. Was barely able to pull over to the side of the road, unfortunately, and this thing started acting up as soon as we got out of the parking lot. So I wouldn't even be surprised at this point if maybe the fuel pump, one of the fuel pumps went out, or some sort of sensor, but I don't have a scanner with me to check, so I'm not really sure, because I have been beating the heck out of it the past week or so. So I'm just gonna let it cool off, find something around here to eat while it cools off, and drive home. I'm only about half an hour or so not too far. Alright, so I went to grab something to eat. It's been about half an hour. This usually did the trick before. Give it half an hour, let it cool down, and then it would have run fine. But now I crank it and wants to start up, but then it dies immediately. Yeah, so I'm pretty much stranded at this point. Not much I can do, really. I don't. Even if I didn't have a scanner, there isn't really much I can do. You can hear the fuel pump. Fuel pump is priming just fine. What I'm gonna give a try is I have a spare ECU with me, thankfully, and I'm gonna swap it out and see what happens. So pretty much gave up on this thing. Tried both ECUs, let it cool down for a little bit. Not helping at all, still doing the exact same thing. So called my Uber, I'm gonna head home, get the truck, get the trailer, and just tow it home. Yeah, it's gonna be the first time I'm towing it home, but yeah, I just don't feel comfortable. Even if I do decide to wait and see if it's gonna run fine, like I used to, I just don't feel comfortable. I'm pretty sure it's going to do the same thing again, and it's just going to be a huge waste of time. So just going to tow it home, see what happens later on. We'll be back later today. So later that same day, my dad and I went to go get the Rabbit where I last left it. Thankfully didn't have to tow it or anything like that. Fixed the issue, got it running just fine. So we still managed to get the car on the roads that I was telling you all about earlier in the video. We got a bunch of clips, so enjoy those. And just remember, this is a public road. There's pedestrians. There's people going about their regular day. So it's not worth breaking any traffic laws or something like that. Driving like an idiot. This is not the right time for that. So yeah, enjoy these clips. So loud. That's a beast.
This kid is having a lot of fun.
How'd it come out?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I gotta go use the bathroom.
All right, so after the Rabbit left me stranded, I finally managed to make it back home. Turns out the car had some fueling issues. Some fueling issues, right? No. So the car...
Really. Somebody screwed up.
Somebody screwed up, I know.
Somebody made a mistake.
Okay, so for my defense, all right, so the fuel gauge on this thing doesn't read correctly, all right? It reads reverse. So when the tank is completely full, it reads that it's completely empty. And then it only goes up to like three quarters way, something like that. So yeah, the car ran out of gas. That was the issue the entire time. Yeah. And the funny thing is, there was like a gas station across the street, but I was just so frustrated. I assumed that because this thing has me traumatized, guys. So I just assumed that because it was literally doing exactly what it used to do when when I guess it would just turn off on me and the ECU would overheat and I had to let it sit for half an hour and then I would come back and it would turn on fine and run perfectly. It was doing the same symptoms, so I just assumed it was that. I haven't really been driving it much. I haven't really driven it much to confirm that issue has completely been fixed, but it seems like it has.
I think it is. It's been fixed since we drove it to Valparaiso, Indiana, like 3 hours, 2 hours and a half on the way
3 hour
there.
drive.
Yeah, it's literally 3 hours from our home, so it's 3 hours and 3 hours back, and then you drive it around. So I think if we would still have the issue, would be the same thing. You know, like it was before. It was no more than half an hour.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's fixed.
I think it is too. I hope it is.
It should
I'm
be.
95%. Yeah, it has to be because 3 hour round trip. It would never go that far before, and it used to misfire as well at times. So it's not doing that anymore. So it seems like the issue has been fixed. The issue the entire time was actually a loose terminal in the ECU. Believe it or not,
A loose pin, yeah.
a loose
For some
pin.
reason, not even the terminal. It was just the pin. They have these
pin.
little needle pins, and one of them seems like it was like kind of open
On the
a little
plug-
bit.
on the plug
In
for
the
the
plug,
ECU.
it was kind of open. So when you put it inside all the pins inside the ECU, seems like it was missing the connection at some point, and it was causing the ECU to overheat and protect or something. So
Yeah.
that's why car shut off. But after you figured it out, you find the problem, and we just fix it, and it's been running fine.
yeah.
I think now there was a problem.
So the only reason I didn't really figure it out was more of luck, honestly, was because we just replaced everything. We thought the issue could be like we replaced multiple fuel pumps, the intake, the high pressure fuel pump. I got a crank sensor. I changed coils. I changed so many things. I tried MAF sensors, throttle bodies,
Yeah,
cam
everything.
sensors, almost every single thing. And then that was pretty much checking off the list before we go to the most expensive option, which was getting another ECU and getting the immobilizer deleted and all of that. That was the most expensive thing. So we pushed that all the way towards the end. And then I finally did that. Got it sent out to United Motorsports. They're the one who did the immobilizer delete. And they did the exact same thing. It still did it.
Yep.
But this time I noticed that when I was moving around the harness trying to uninstall it while the car was turning on, I noticed that in one position it was running fine. And then I moved it to another position, it started misfiring again.
Yeah, you notice the
So,
RPMs. So
Yeah.
the RPMs drop, and that's when you notice that the wire was doing that. So
Yep.
that's when I come in and fix it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the wiring expert. I don't want to break anything.
Not an expert, but I mess with it a
I
little
didn't want to
more.
break anything. Right.
Yeah.
So after that, once we figured that out, and the funny thing is that the one pin that we were having issues with, that was the pin, that's the wire that sends a signal to the second ignition coil,
The ignition
and also
coil
gives
and
signal to the RPM.
gauge.
Gives a signal to both. So that's why it was weird. I was wondering why when the car started to misfire, the RPMs would completely drop. So that was why that was going on the entire time. That one wire feeds those two signals. So the car was running on 5 cylinders for the longest time.
Right, on and off.
Yeah, ever since the previous year's Wookiees in the Woods, that's where the car left us stranded the first time. Ever since we did all the work that we were doing to it over the winter, that was our first long drive with it. So that was where I left us on the side of the tail of the dragon.
Right.
The first time.
Right, the first time. No, it was the second time. The first time actually was the car was running fine. Remember, even Juan drove it back all the way from Wookiees. We was still running fine. Not 100%.
No, but we didn't do the. At the time, we didn't do the. We didn't mess with the fuel pump.
No, and the power steering. So we were still having issues. Like we were still having things, but just like everything else, that's it was a new swap for us. We didn't knew exactly everything what to do and how to do it. So we were kind of just messing with it, and but we got it to run decent, and we end up burning the fuel pump down in Wookiees. That was the first year because we were having issues with the fuel pump. It wasn't set up correctly. We already knew. Dave already mentioned to us, but we just didn't do it. That was kind of our fault because we knew what the answer was, but we just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So, but even with that fuel pump, Juan drove it back.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
Like 10 hours
The
drive.
car was misfiring. The car did start to misfire after a while.
Yes.
It just didn't turn off like it started doing more recently. So it's really weird. I don't know what exactly was going on there.
Like kind of the issue just started progressing little by little with the misfires, and then they end up getting
Started getting worse.
where the
pin
second
started.
year they just
The pin started making less and less contact over time. Maybe it just started getting worse. But anyways, yeah, we got it figured out. And we were just talking. We never even got to show you all the work we've put into this car this past winter. So we never showed you guys really the finished product or really went into depth or anything. So let me show you guys real quick. So this is how the car's sitting right now. I'm sure you guys already noticed the new wheels it has. The new wheels we put on right before we went to Wookie's, the new wheel and tire setup. So now it's running 15x9 OZ Fittipaldi's and 4x100. So pretty rare. You can't just order these wheels online anymore. Like a lot of wheels out there. Yeah, pretty hard to come by. So very lucky that I ran into these.
And the nice thing is they clear the big brakes fine. The big brake in the front that we have, we're running 11-inch big brakes in the front, and it clears just fine.
Yeah.
We run a 5mm spacer or something.
I think 10. It's running a 10 mil spacer in the front, and then in the back it's got like a 30 millimeter spacer, so a pretty big one. But I wanted to keep the square setup in the front and back, so I can rotate tires when the time comes. And the tire setup now is we're running 245/40s, so a jump up from 205/50, 40 millimeters more of contact compared to the other one. So pretty big jump. You can definitely feel the difference. It doesn't catches a little bit more traction. Obviously, it's not going to catch everything, but you can definitely feel it. And going to the engine bay. I'm pretty sure we already mentioned this, but we finished wrapping up the airbox, running the airbox that originally comes with the engine, so we can just optimize the airflow, optimize the MAF readings and everything. So it's going to be great for the ECU once we get to tune this thing. We still haven't gotten there yet. We're still waiting for Dave and United Motorsports to work on that. Yeah, they're still working on a program to get this thing tuned. For some reason, yeah, they're not easy.
They don't have the tunes for the late models yet. I guess there's not enough demand, I think.
Yeah.
For them, but it's getting now. The years passing, it's going to be harder to find these other motors, the first generation. So people will be using this. So hopefully they will decide that they will want to do it with this one at some point. Dave and I were talking that maybe, and this is just a maybe. At some point, we can bring the car to them and they can probably develop the tune with this car now that it's running fine. First of all, we needed to run perfect. Like get all the issues ironed out. Just kind of get everything. So when they have it in the dyno or doing the program or tuning, they will not have any issues. So they don't have to work in this thing. So seems like we are at that point now. We're just gonna have to wait until see what they say. They might decide to do it.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, we're ready. We're pretty much ready with this thing. We got the fuel pump wrapped up as well. That was pretty much the last videos that we shared with this thing. The car's running great. No more burning fuel pumps at all now, so that's a relief.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy how you hear the fuel pump prime, on and off, and that's what they tell us in the beginning. Like the original pump was not meant to do that. Hold those drops of voltage.
Yeah.
So, and this pump, it was meant for the car, so you can hear it on and off.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it with the engine bay. No problems there. And then the last thing we recorded for this car was the roll cage. We never quite finished it off. You guys remember we tried to weld this thing in here with our Harbor Freight flux. What do they call flux capacitor welders?
Yeah,
the flux welders.
Yeah,
they just didn't do the job.
Those are the really cheap things. They're just for the little welding here and there, but not for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, little jobs like that. And then we ended up getting some help from Manuel. He's pretty good with the MIG welder, so he helped us out with this. We got this bar coming across right here that connects the roll cage on the sides. Also serves as a harness bar. It was the same harness bar we had. It's the eBay one, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. That bolts onto the B pillars. But we just cut it and welded it, and the dimensions worked out. Yeah. We had to bend it a little bit, but I mean it does the job. It's much safer than the previous setup we had. We're honestly learning. It was pretty unsafe, but
we're still learning.
Yeah, we're learning a lot, and as you can see right there, the harnesses are pretty pretty straight coming out of the bucket seat, which is what you want. You want between 0 to 5 degrees in the harness bar. So a little bit of safety, a little bit of aesthetics right there. It looks. And we also got this another support bar welded in here that connects the rear strut towers back here. So a little bit more rigidity, more stiffness in the chassis, which helped as well. And pretty much wraps it up. That's the fuel pump right there, as you can see it. The Frankenstein fuel pump, Mark IV housing with the 3.6 VR fuel pump, internal fuel pump inside of it. So it's strange. We got Mark IV fuel lines. We got a Mark IV plug in a Mark I with the freaking
with the
3.6 VR.
Like the Passat fuel pump. Yeah, it's all Frankenstein.
Frankenstein
but
stuff.
It works.
It works great. Yeah, it works great. It does the job.
Since we did that, the car runs a lot better, and now we don't risk it of burning it and be stranded. That was the thing. Like, we always carried 2 fuel pumps inside the car, just because if we were messing with it, we didn't want to, be stranded on the side of the road. We got a couple of tools to replace it.
Even now, still carry one, but
like I mentioned before, we burned one over in Fontana. We were in Fontana. We were lucky that we were coming out of the Hellblender, I think they call them. And there's the big parking lot in there.
We were coming into the Hellblender from Fontana.
Yeah.
Coming down from Fontana.
Yeah, so we were just lucky to
crossing the bridge.
Crossing the bridge, and we just pull into the big parking lot. And there were a few friends over there. They help us out, raise the car and get under and swap the pump. It only take us like 20 minutes or so. And we were back in the road having fun. So.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, I think that pretty much wraps it up, guys. It's
a nice story.
That's how it is. It's winter time. It's November, mid-November right now, so it's nearly time to put it away for the winter time. And I don't think we even have plans for this one for this winter.
No.
Not really anything lined up.
More things to do before
we got other things that we're working on. So
yeah,
it's gonna be the first time in probably 3 years that we don't have this thing in the winter time in here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We've been learning a lot with this car, messing with it a lot, and it's been struggles, I would say, but in the end, it's working. It's working. It costs us a lot, time, money, and everything just to get it to the point where it is right now, and we just wanna try to have fun this summer. Next summer, it's gotta go out, and we gotta have fun with this, and try to do something what we intend this build to do with some road course or something, try to bring it to a track. And also we gotta practice, we gotta learn. Like, we're not good drivers by anything, so we gotta learn a little bit as well. So
yeah,
before we push this car to see what it can do.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, guys, that's it. I think that's it for this video. Anything else you want to say? No, right?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. Like, the only thing I like to say is always, as I always do, help us out. Give us a like, comment, share if you can.
Come on, say it.
It doesn't cost anything. So
you don't seem too excited.
Well, sometimes it's like you're almost begging people to help you out, and that's how I feel. So I don't know. I mean,
no, I definitely appreciate it. It is appreciated.
Definitely appreciate it if somebody does it and you feel like you want to help us out. It's awesome. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
If not, no big deal, guys. I mean, we're still gonna be doing it. We're still gonna be grinding.
Definitely.
So
definitely, for sure. Yeah, guys, let us know what you all think of the build. How do you guys think it's coming along? It's definitely been an adventure, and I haven't really driven it much this summer, but the few times I have recently, it's been a blast driving it. Zero issues. So hopefully next summer it's ready to go with no issues. It's gonna be 100% reliable. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning into this one. That's gonna be it for today. Yeah, see you guys next time. Peace out.